Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're going to be looking at the story of Lay's potato chips.
Lay's?
Yeah.
Oh,
from, the very beginning to becoming this huge global snack empire.
Yeah.
You sent us a little excerpt about it, and we thought it'd be really fascinating to sort of dig in.
Yeah. It's a really cool story because it's not just about the chips themselves.
Right.
It's about business and kind of, taking risks and understanding consumers.
Yeah. So we're starting back in the 1930s.
Okay.
And right in the middle of the Great Depression.
Oh, wow.
And our main character here, Herman Lay,
Yeah.
he's a salesman,
Okay.
but he ends up getting fired.
Oh, no.
But instead of, just looking for another job, he uses the money he got to buy a used Ford Model A, and he starts selling potato chips.
So he saw an opportunity there, even in the Depression.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing that he didn't just give up.
Yeah, I think that's so important, that mindset of recognizing an opportunity even when things are tough.
Right, because people still need to eat.
Exactly. Even during hard times, people need a little treat.
Yeah, and so he's driving around selling these chips.
Yeah.
I imagine it was really hands-on.
Oh, absolutely. At the beginning, it was just him, buying the chips, packaging them, delivering them.
Wow, so like a one-man show?
Totally.
Huh.
And that direct connection with customers proved to be so valuable.
What do you mean by that?
Well, he's getting that immediate feedback, what people liked, what they didn't.
Oh, interesting.
So he could adjust and build that customer loyalty.
Makes sense. So it's like building relationships, not just selling.
Exactly. Yeah. And that's how you lay the groundwork for a really strong brand.
Right. So then by the mid-1940s,
okay,
he takes this big step and decides to actually produce his own chips.
Wow. So he goes from reselling to making them himself.
Yeah. Why do you think he made that change?
I mean, it's a risk, right?
Yeah.
I think he realized to have that control over quality, to create something truly unique, he needed to own the whole process.
From the potato to the chip.
Exactly. And that let him experiment with flavors and techniques, which we'll talk about more later.
Cool. So he sets up this plant in Atlanta.
Okay.
And then he does something really innovative for the time.
What's that?
Branded packaging.
Oh, yeah. Like back then, chips weren't exactly a fashion statement.
Right. I imagine they were just in plain bags or something.
Pretty much. But Herman, he understood that presentation matters. He created this distinct bag design, adds the logo.
Oh.
And of course, the slogan, "So crisp you can't eat just one."
Oh, that's so catchy.
Right.
I feel like I've heard that my whole life.
Exactly. He was ahead of his time. He understood he wasn't just selling chips, he was selling an experience.
Like a brand identity.
Exactly. It's revolutionary, and it really helped Lay's stand out.
Yeah. So now business is booming.
Yeah.
He's got a great product, a good brand.
Okay.
So how do we go from there?
Well, this is where partnerships come in. In 1961, Lay's merges with the Frito company.
Frito as in Fritos corn chips.
The one and only.
Wow, that's a big move. Why would they do that?
It's actually brilliant for a few reasons.
Okay.
First, they eliminated a major competitor.
Smart.
But they also combined Lay's strength in potato chips
Right.
with Frito's expertise in corn chips,
Right.
creating like a snack food powerhouse.
So it's not just about making a good product, it's about understanding the market.
Exactly. Sometimes you got to team up with the competition.
Wow. And then get this.
Okay.
It doesn't stop there. Just a few years later in 1965,
Yeah.
they merge with another giant
Who?
Pepsi Cola.
Pepsi chips and soda. What's the connection?
That's what I thought. But this is where things get really strategic.
Okay.
PepsiCo had something Lay's needed to really expand.
And what was that?
A massive distribution network and a ton of resources.
Oh, wow. So like a superhighway to reach customers everywhere.
Exactly.
Huh.
This merger gave them the infrastructure and the power to take Lay's global-wide. But that's a story for part 2 of our deep dive.
So now they've got PepsiCo backing them.
Right.
You might think they just said, all right, world, here's classic American Lay's flavors. Time to eat them.
Like pushing sour cream and onion on everybody.
Uh-huh. Exactly. But they were way smarter than that.
Oh, so what did they do?
Lay's knew going global meant understanding different tastes, what people like, what they're used to.
So it's more than just flavor. Like, even what people eat chips with matters.
Exactly. It's cultural. So they did a ton of research in each new region.
Oh, wow. Like sending teams out there.
Yeah. Imagine figuring out what spices people love, what snacks they already have, even their street food.
To see how Lay's could fit in.
Exactly. Yeah. Not stick out like a sore thumb.
So the chips stayed the same, but the flavor got a makeover.
You got it. Like in India, they launched masala magic.
Okay, spices make sense.
Right. Evokes familiar foods. But they also had huge success with cream and onion.
Wait, really? I thought that was a very American thing.
You'd think so, but it's about taste profiles. Indians love savory and tangy.
Oh, so it just worked out.
Yeah, it wasn't about copying American tastes, but finding what matches up.
So cool.
Yeah.
Any other examples of this?
Tons. In China, they went bold, spicy crab and cucumber, totally different, but both very Chinese.
Wow.
In Thailand, tom yum soup and sweet basil, again matching their cuisine.
It's like they're using chips to bridge cultures.
Exactly. Culinary diplomacy, if you will.
I love it. So Lay's showed that being sensitive to different cultures is key.
Huge takeaway. It's not, here's our product world. It's, how can we be part of your food world?
Big difference. So smart. But besides all this strategy, let's get back to Herman Lay himself.
Okay.
What made him so successful beyond business smarts?
Well, a few things. First, pure resilience.
Oh, yeah. He didn't let getting fired stop him.
Nope. He used it as fuel.
Wow. And he also took risks.
Huge ones. From making his own chips to those mergers, he saw opportunity and jumped.
Not just sitting around.
Yes, sir. He was shaping his own path.
And the third thing,
He knew he couldn't do it alone. Those partnerships were key.
right, from local stores to Frito to Pepsi.
Exactly. It's kind of like the chips themselves, simple, but through collaboration, they became global.
Nice. But there's one more thing often overlooked.
What's that?
Quality. Like, was that a big deal back then?
Huge. Herman was obsessed with the best potatoes. The right cooking. Even the packaging to keep them crispy.
So it's not just marketing fluff. So crisp had to be true.
Absolutely. It was a promise. And that consistency is why Lay's is still trusted today.
I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So Herman's story is inspiring, but what's cool is how he embodied those values.
The resilience, the risk-taking, the teamwork.
And the chips kind of reflect that.
It's a great point. It's not just about the product, it's the people behind it.
Their choices,
Their values.
baked right in like a potato chip.
Yeah.
So we've seen Herman's journey,
Yeah.
the mergers, the global stuff.
What else can we learn from all this? It's kind of like Lay's is more than just a business, you know? It's like that whole idea that anyone can make it even when things are tough.
Right, like the American dream in a bag of chips.
But also about being clever. Taking a simple potato chip
Right.
and turning it into something huge.
That they really understood their customer. And that's huge.
It makes me wonder, are there things like that today?
Like a simple idea that could be the next Lay's.
I bet there are. We're probably surrounded by them and don't even realize.
And it could be anything.
Right, oh, totally. Some new tech or a service, or even just a new way to do an old thing.
Like finding an answer to a problem people didn't know they had.
Exactly. It's seeing things differently.
So it's more than just having the idea.
Yeah.
It's knowing it's good and having the guts to make it happen.
100%. Herman's story is proof there's no magic formula.
Right.
It takes work and never giving up.
Yeah.
And yeah, a little luck helps too.
But you got to at least try, right?
Yeah.
Take that first step.
Exactly. And be ready for the bumps along the way.
Lay's had plenty of those.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like the depression competition, figuring out different cultures.
But they always came out on the other side.
And that's key. They didn't just avoid risks.
Right.
They took smart risks, learned from the wins and the losses.
And knew they didn't know everything.
Hence the partnerships. So important.
I think that's a good lesson for everyone.
Absolutely.
We get caught up in the lone genius idea.
Right.
But working together is often what really makes things happen.
Whether it's mentors or a team or partnering with another company, knowing you don't have to do it all alone.
Makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
And that goes back to the cultural thing, too.
Yeah, Lay's didn't just say, eat our chips.
They listened, adapted, made it fit in.
And that respect showed it worked globally.
Okay, so we've seen the whole story, ups, down strategy, the personal stuff.
What do you think is the most important thing Herman Lay left behind?
It's easy to say the chips,
Right.
but for me, it's that anyone can do it attitude. That drive,
He embodied the entrepreneurial spirit
right, that even a simple idea can change things.
with enough passion and hard work.
It's pretty amazing, from a guy selling chips from his car to this massive company.
It really is.
But what's cool is anyone can relate to it in a way.
I think so too.
It's about dreaming big and going for it. Believing you can make something that matters.
And hopefully it inspires our listeners to do the same.
Take those ideas they've got and take a chance.
Who knows, maybe the next big thing is right under our noses.
As simple and surprising as a potato chip.
You never know.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the world of Lay's.
Of course.
We hope you enjoyed it and maybe even got some inspiration.
Yeah.
And next time you grab a snack, remember there's a whole story behind it.
Always.
Of people creating and trying and connecting us all.
Cheers to that.
Absolutely.